Okay, so let's have a look at an example of using a wiki in the classroom. This is one that I've done before. I think it's a nice novel way to do a research task. Basically, I gave them a task and I asked them to do it together, so they had to work collaboratively. And I used a wiki, but you can use Google Docs as well. Or to make it really simple, you can use a Word or Excel documents. If you save them, get them to save them in a shared drive, and they work on them together. What you need to do, you need to have some way of the group knowing who is the person who's working on the document, because in all these different ways of doing this, only one person can edit the document at once. So I gave them like crazy hats. The person who was doing the editing was wearing the hat, and then everyone else in the group could know that that person was editing, so they had to wait till they got the hat. I got the students to colour code their work, so you knew which student had made each contribution. And wikis record the history of the document, so you can go through and look at the document as it evolves, which is really nice. So what I'll just, you can see here I've got an example there of the hats that I used, so and I got them to pass them around. If I come now to, let's have a look at one of these wikis. Here's one. This was for Year 8, and the topic that they were looking at was soil salinity, its impact on land productivity and scientific understanding of its causes. So the members of the group, they had to break up this task and go and research different things, and then collate them all together in this wiki. First they watched a little video that explains the process of using a wiki, because they'd seen Wikipedia before but had never edited one. So they learnt about the edit, write, save process of how to create a wiki and keep editing it. Then they found out to write their contributions in different colours and indicate it with a key, and use the hat so that they'd know who was doing the editing. So here's the final result. What I asked them to do was to make up a document that they were then going to use as a worksheet to teach the class about this topic, and each of the groups in the class had a different topic, so they all went and taught the class. So here's their information. They had a definition. They'd put together a definition, impacts and scientific causes. This is good. They'd really addressed the question. And then I asked them to add some questions at the end, so that the students had some activities to do when they taught them. And I asked them specifically not to make them really simple, like find words or you know, like closed passages or anything. I said make them a bit more interesting and a bit more demanding. So I said like draw a mind map, or somehow to interact with the information and you know, bring it all together down here in these questions. So to force the students in the class to have to actually interact and pay attention with this information. So that was their task, and if we have a look, let's go and see what they would have seen when they were working on the document. So it would have been empty, and when they click the edit button here, this is in Moodle. There's a wiki plugin in Moodle, and it's quite simple, so that's really good. And we've got the video playing here. Just close that. And here's the window that they would have seen when they started. So you can see the documents in here. You can enlarge the area here to work with once you've got that open, and you'll see this little menu comes up the top, shows you all the different things you can do with the document. Makes it quite easy, because a lot of wikis you have to know some little code etc. to change all the formatting etc. But this all does it. It's called WYSIWYG. It means what you see is what you get, and that's very simple, just like word processors that we use. So yeah, the one in the wiki in Moodle, wiki plugin in Moodle, is very good. And you can see here the document. There was an image here, and it's died. Unfortunately, probably the link moved from where the document, or the image has moved from where it was, so we've lost that. But yeah, there's the document, and then you just minimize that again, and it goes back into that window. And what they would have done once they edited is then press save. One of the great things about these wikis, most wikis, you can look at the history of the wiki. So if I come over here and look at the history one, when I get the final document, of course I can see the colours, so I can see what each student has done, but also what I can see down here is all the different versions of that document from when it started. So if we go back all the way back to the start, let's have a look. Stop that, make sure it doesn't play, and it plays again. I'll have to work on that one. So if I come back to version 1, and you can see in version 1 that the first student just put all their names in different colours. So she was doing the organising, and then if we look further, then let's say somewhere in the middle, so here we go, version 27, and we see here there's a fair few images and lots of text been put in by all different people. Can we see there hasn't been much editing going on? Lindy hasn't done much here by the looks. There's not much in her name, except I think maybe, if I remember correctly, she might have been looking for some images, so that might be why. But let's look at a later version, maybe the second last one. And here's the second last one, and you can see it's very different. It's lost some of the text, some of the images are gone, it was replaced with one image, and the questions have been added. So we've almost got our finished product there. So yeah, they've brought together their document. Looks like they've achieved their aims. They've covered the topic that was at hand. You can see who did what, and you can trace the history of it and see it at all different stages, so you can actually assess them on their contribution. So that's just an example of one way to use a wiki. Another way, that I've seen students use them is to make summaries on together or by themselves. So yeah,